Okay, off we go. Take a comfortable seat. I'm going to sit cross-legged. You're welcome to sit in any way that works for you. And as you find your seat, roll your shoulders up, back, and down a couple of times. Start to turn your gaze low or close the eyes, and then move the shoulders forward and down a few times. Shrug the shoulders up to your ears. Nice, full, intentional breath, and then exhale, release it out. Relax the shoulders down. Let the hands lie on your legs, nice and easy. And in this manner, welcoming yourself into this time for yoga practice. As you bring your focus and attention to your breath, it's always just that awareness that counts the most. No need to change, to alter, but just take in. Notice the breath. And as we move through class today, just as we have a little bit more placement in the body parts, I'll usher us through a little bit more work in the breath. But for right now, it's just take notice. With each new inhale, each new exhale, really settling into this present moment. This is March 31st, the last day of the month in which we've focused the mantra, healthy habits nourish me. Thank you for closing out your month with healthy movement, nourishing for the mind, nourishing for the body, nourishing for the soul. And tuck your chin down to your chest. Rock right ear to right shoulder. Across the chest, left ear to left shoulder. So we just go back and forth. Find a pace that works for you. We're going to take our time with a lot of this sort of rocking and movement in the warm-up today. Okay, keep right ear over towards the right shoulder, and then walk the left fingertips out to the side and right hand on top of the left ear or near the ear, and give a little tug out to the side as we typically do, but no pressure down. We're just trying to lengthen out here. And then we bring it all back in, hands to the thighs, chin to the chest, left ear over towards the left shoulder. Walk the opposite fingertips out and set the left hand on top of the right ear. Notice perhaps how the breath might need to change or alter to adjust for the tension and the release of that tension. And then walk the hands back, chin down to the chest. Lift the head here, gradually open the eyes. I'm sitting up on some height, but I want to be flat against the ground here to get a little bit more ease. Lift the arms up to the sky, and it's more ease for this. We're going to drop a hand down to the side, and then up, down to the side, and up. And this is not a held position, just sort of a constant movement, leaning side to side. And as you start to open up a little bit more, maybe you're going even further down to the forearm rather than just fingertips. Just kind of find what works. So big lateral movement. And as I rock from side to side, I'm usually lifting up like one side of the butt. I'm not trying to stay planted. Okay. Do this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then lift both arms back up. Now take right fingertips down, crawl them out, and do the held position. So we'll be doing this a lot today, kind of rock and movement with breath in and out, and a dynamic force at first, and then more static. Okay, both arms up to the sky. Take it on over to the other side. Fingertips crawl out. Turn, look up. Hold for a couple of breaths. And our focus today is mostly seated postures. So I find this sort of movement within the seated postures is a great way to find a little more opening. Lean all the way forward, hands down to the floor, like your upper body is in child's pose, but still a cross-legged seat in the legs. And then come on back upright. Okay, so for this one, you can either take palms together like this or hold on to the shoulders. Holding on to the shoulders, just slightly more ask. And I do want you to keep your elbows like up in either case. And then we're twisting slow at first, side to side here. Really just trying to awaken the spine and all of these varied movements and directions this morning. And then start to go a little bit faster. And wherever works best for you to focus. For some, it's easiest to stay with a forward focus and let the torso turn. If it's not dizzying to you, maybe you let the head turn with the torso. This one's always hard for me. Release it, relax the arms down, and breathe in. And because it's harder, I know it's good for me to come back to that practice. Most of us are a little more stiff in the upper back and chest. I'm sure many of us experiencing seasonal allergies. For me, that really flares congestion and not fun lung stuff. And so that side-to-side motion, like, it's important, but it's hard. Isn't that life? One more breath. Okay, and then we're going to change over to all fours. As you come to all fours, cat and cow, just like we all know. Move the spine back and forth. So another way and different plane to move the spine in. And I hope you'll notice there's really no wrong way to do these sort of opening warm-up movements. No wrong way to move throughout any of the practice. But in particular, warming up the spine, awareness to breath. Like if you do just this opening 10 minutes or so each day can really be beneficial. It's nice to have a full practice together, lengthen time on the mat. But it's certainly not necessary every day. A little more cat and cow. And then come back to a neutral spine and bring the knees together. Look a little forward of your hands. Lift your right leg up and back. Point out to your toes and try to pull the inner thigh up a little bit more as the hips stay rotated down. Those are subtle little changes or asks. And then add a little pulse. Lift the right leg higher, higher, higher. Keep going. Tone in the abdomen, squeeze in the glutes. Imagine squeezing the thigh muscles closer to the bone there. All the way, nice and steady. And then lower the right leg down. For the second side, turn your hands around. So fingers either face the side of your mat or all the way back towards your knees. And then same thing, lift the left leg up and back. Tighten the glutes, look a little forward rather than down. And add the little pulse. It doesn't have to be a big change. It's helping to further warm up the hamstrings and the glute in particular. And you're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the leg, turn the hands around, and push back to child's pose now. Knees apart, big toes together, reach your arms out long in front. Walk your hands over to the right. Nice reach out to the left fingertips and a pull back, left hip to left heel. And walk the hands across the middle, on over to the second side. Again, reach as long as you can to right fingertips, but try to pull back, right hip to right heel. Okay, bring it back into the center. And then this is some rocking motion, like you're coming forward into cobra and then back into child's pose. And here it's constant movement. You can be a little bit slack in the muscles. But make sure it feels okay to you to dip in the low back in this way. We're not staying with it. You can go slower though, as feels good to you. And then we'll change the forward and back rocking to more of a big circular motion. So from child's pose, more like you're circling all the way around and forward and then back and around. Make big movements. Go 3 or 4 times in the same direction, and then we'll switch directions. Just kind of oiling up the joints today, if you will. Okay, and then you come up to all fours. And I always call these salsa circles. So now you're staying in all fours and still just trying to work in circles in the hips. It might take a little bit to kind of find your way. Feel free to close your eyes. Nobody's watching. And then go the other way as well. Usually that second way is a little bit more difficult. Okay, and downward facing dog. Tuck the toes left. Pedal out the feet. Find more stillness in your dog pose now. Press the hands down and forward. Make the arms straight and strong. Squeeze tips of the shoulder blades in. Still broad across the tops of the shoulders, but pull the navel in towards the spine. Stretch the thighs back and the heels down. So much to think about. Focus on at least one of those things. And then knees back down to the mat. Okay, we're gonna sit all the way down and stretch your legs straight out in front of you. We'll do some warm-up action in our feet now. Feel free to sit up on a cushion or anything that helps, but cross your right ankle over the left thigh. So we're in a figure 4 shape. Thread your fingers in between the toes here. And try to go webbing to webbing, and then spread your fingers out to spread the toes out. Keep that spread, but then make like a fist with your hand and work your ankle around in circles. Go one way and the other way. Release the hand, and with both hands, flex and point the foot. So it's a pretty strong action here, back and forth. As we dive deeper, thankfully, towards spring. Maybe some open-toed shoes and sandals coming up. We need some work on those feet. Okay. Hold on to your ankle, pick your foot up, and shake, shake, shake. Shake a little bit longer, and then release. Before you do the other side, just pause for a moment. This trick never gets old to me. Notice how the right leg is different than the left. Like I literally feel lopsided because that leg is sunk down. Okay, and then we do the second side to even ourselves out. So cross over, ankle over the thigh. Nice little hip opener here, and also work on your feet. Webbing to webbing. Spread the fingers to spread the toes. Keep the spread, but make a fist, and then work in circles. Go the opposite direction as well. We have lots and lots of tiny little nerve endings in our feet. Take the hand out and do a flex and point. And those lines run all the way up the back side of the body. So giving our feet a little love, care, and attention really does significantly help the whole self. Pick up your foot above the ankle. Try to still sit up tall and wiggle it out. Release. Sit for a moment. Take notice. Hopefully both legs a little more grounded here. A little tingle of excitement in our feet, just awakening the whole self. Okay, and then as you're ready, make your way up to a standing position. Come up to the top of your mat. Stand in mountain pose, but maybe mountain pose with your feet a little bit wider than typical. Arms by your side, but turn open, palms to the front. A sense of bigness of you. So good. Lift the arms up to the sky. And then exhale, forward fold. Fingertips to the floor, bend the knees so that can happen. Stay here for a breath. Half lift. Bring the hands as high as to the thighs. They can stay lower to shins or fingertips to the floor, but we want the full length of the spine. And step it back to plank. Lower flat down to the yoga mat. Peel the chest up for cobra. And then change to downward facing dog. Look forward in between the hands and walk forward. Walk, walk, walk up. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. And bring palms together, center of the chest. Stay right here in the standing mountain pose. And again, drop your awareness back to your breath. And here, as much as possible as we progress through practice, try to have a little extended exhale breath, where the exhale is just even a tad bit longer than your inhale. Sometimes it makes sense to work with that through movement at first for me. So it looks kind of like this. Do it with me. Inhale, lift the arms up for 3, 2, 1. And then exhale, fold over. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, half lift. 3, 2, 1. As you exhale, step back to plank and lower down. It's 4, 3, 2, 1. Cobra, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, longer. Down dog, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay here. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. And keep going like that in your mind and the breath as much as it serves you. Next breath, look in between the hands and then walk it forward. Exhale. Inhale, half lift. Forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. And palms together, center of the chest. One more round, Surya Namaskar A. Lift the arms up. Exhale, fold. Half lift. Step it back to plank. Lower down to your yoga mat. Peel the chest up. Downward facing dog. Inhale, look to your hands. Exhale, walk, step, jump forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, reach the arms to the sky. And exhale, palms together, center of the chest. steady here, stay here. Okay, hands to our hips. First lunge of the practice. Keep the right foot forward, step your left foot back so that you're in a high lunge. Hips, shoulders, ears, all about stacked over each other. Strong pull of abdomen in, navel towards the spine. And then we're going to take some movement just in the back leg. So as much as you can, everything else stays the same. And you bend the back knee and straighten the leg. Do it a few more times. Bend and straighten. Maybe the knee taps down, but it doesn't have to. And as you do this, the hips might get a little lower, length of your lunge a little longer. One more tap down and up, stay up. Extra squeeze in the glute. Lift both arms to the sky. Hinge forward at the hips now. Push hips back, arms forward. And change it to your twist. Left arm down, right arm up. And then lower the left knee down to the mat. Heel toe the right foot wider. Last week we did a whole class on Twisted Monkey. We're going right into it here. Try to grab your back foot in your hand. Make your seat and heel come as close to one another as they can. And then in that effort of movement today, you lunge a little forward and back. I'm bending my left elbow and a little more bend and straighten into the front leg to make that happen. So using the dynamic flow to find our postures today. Just a different look. And then release. Walk it all back into a regular low lunge. Step back to plank. Down to the mat. Okay, 4 breaths in a wide cobra. Fingertips out to the side. Lift the chest up and flow down. Inhale, elbows up, chest up and down. Inhale, lift and lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Push back to child's pose. Make your change to downward facing dog. And then look forward to your hands. Walk, step, or jump to the front of your mat. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. As you release the hands down, take them back to your waist. We've got a second side here. Have your left foot forward and step your right foot back. Squeeze in, nice and strong to the midline. Try to keep everything that's happening in the front leg, torso stacked straight up and down. And then we take those little bend and straighten through the back leg. A lot of times we do this similar type action, but on the front side of the pose. So we're working in here using the back side. Maybe go a little longer, a little deeper. Find your way. And now hold. Back leg as straight as possible. Extra squeeze in, lift the arms up. And hinge forward. Set right fingertips down, left arm up to the sky, add your twist. Keep pulling your left hip back in space. Nice. Set the hands down to the inside, lower the right knee to the floor, kind of heel toe out the left foot. Pull the right heel in towards your seat. Like a rainbow, lift the left arm up and around, find your back foot. And then I'll add the little bit of movement in. Anytime I ask us to add the movement and it's not your thing, hold the pose instead. Find what works. Okay. Slow release of the back foot. Work it into your low lunge, hands on either side of the foot. Step back to plank. And down to the mat. That rolling cobra again, but this time hands just stay right under the shoulders as typical in cobra. Inhale, lift up. As you lower down, maybe one shoulder down, and then lift. And try the second side, shoulder down, and lift. Both together, down and up. Go back one shoulder down and up, second side, and up, and both together. Hold your cobra, squeeze the elbows into your side, nice and strong in the legs. Slow release out, long, long extension of the exhale. Push it all back to child's pose. Change to downward facing dog. Now bend your knees and walk your hands backwards to your feet. So we start from the end of our yoga mat. Ever so slowly roll it up to standing. From the back of your mat, feet closer together now, lift the arms up to the sky. Utkatasana, your chair pose, bend the knees, sit into your thighs. All the same work applies here, navel into spine, trying to keep the shoulders over the line of the hips. Now they're gonna go forward. It's the makeup of the pose. But as much as we can, we try to lift up and back here. One more breath like this. Okay, stand all the way up. Bring your hands again to the waist and step your right foot just halfway forward. Bend and straighten both legs. Keep the bend in both knees. Hinge forward at the waist. And now can you lift and lower the back leg? Lift and lower. Lift and lower several times. So a moving warrior 3. Hands can stay right here at the waist, or a little more challenge, reach the arms out in front of you. Okay, lift and hold the leg up, warrior 3. Keep with a nice bend in the right knee, or you can go for a straighter standing leg, but keep the hips square the whole time wherever you are. Stand all the way up and pull your left knee into your chest. Stand and pull up. Hold on to the front of your shin. Lift it up a little bit higher. Push down through your right big toe. Grow taller up to the crown of the head. And now tree pose. Set the left foot onto the right leg and reach the arms up to the sky in tree pose. Can you lift your left knee towards your armpit, up, set it back to tree, up, set it back to tree. Ooh, do it one more time, up and into tree pose. And then lower the legs, lower the arms, give it a little bit of a shake. Take a walk to the back end of your yoga mat. Let's try it all on the second side. Second side knows a little bit about where it's going to. Can be helpful. Step the right foot just halfway up. Kind of like a little squat. And straighten here a couple of times. Work it in. And then you're going to keep the right knee bent. Push your butt back, torso forward. Weight goes into just the right leg so you can lift and lower left leg. Again, hands here at the waist for more ease. Straight out in front of you for more challenge. If you're looking for more stability in the balance, you could hold onto a wall, the floor, a chair, something with the hands. Everyone, try to keep your left leg as high as you can. Lift from the inner thigh. Think back to that very beginning of class in all fours. It's that same work in the back leg. Maybe a straighter standing leg as well. You've got this. In it. Stand up, pull. Oh man, I'm on the same side. I messed up. Did you guys switch sides? Some of you yes, some of you no. I'm going to switch sides now, so now I need my right knee up. Sorry about that. Right knee up. Arms to the sky, place the foot into tree pose. A little thrown off. Okay, and we go right knee towards the armpit and down to the armpit to tree pose, and one more time to the armpit to tree pose, and step 2 feet to the floor. Release the arms, shake it all out. Where did I go wrong? I don't know. Hopefully you guys did both sides. If not, does it really matter? Stand at the back end of the mat. Lift both arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Take it to downward facing dog. Walk, walk, walk it out. You're probably thinking, Betsy, we said we were doing seated poses. What are all these standing balances for? We're getting there. We're getting there. Downward facing dog. Pigeon. Bring the right knee behind the right wrist. Heel in towards the left hip. Walk your back leg out. Place as much of the front of your back thigh on the ground as you can, top of your foot, and come down to the forearms. If you prefer to keep toes tucked, that's totally fine too. Just different offerings, different preferences. Or settle in here for a moment. No shifting, no moving, just be. Can we go back to that extra length of the exhale, the extended exhale breath? Most teachers working with the breath would say here, our guide is to make the exhale twice as long as the inhale. I find that hard to do. I just try to make sure the exhale is a little bit longer. Then over time, with space, it opens a little bit longer still. Okay, and then roll off towards your right hip so that you can come upright and swing your left leg around to the front. I want us to keep the right heel in towards the outer seat if possible here, and step the left foot all the way over to the outside edge of the leg. Hold hands to the front of your shin, lift up tall here. And then lift both arms to the sky. And finally add a twist. Look over towards the left leg, the front thigh, until you're looking to the side or back to your left shoulder. On an inhale breath, untwist and lift your arms up to the sky, and then you're just going to twist in the opposite direction. Counter twist there. Okay, lift both arms back up. I just want us to move back to downward facing dog. So there's of course a lot of ways to do that. I'm going to set my hands back behind me, untwist the legs, and then kind of flip over to all fours and stretch back to down dog. Doesn't really matter, however you want to get there. Down dog. Okay, and then the second side, it's left knee to the left wrist, heel towards your right hip. So with that left foot tucked in, then walk your right thigh further back and come down to the forearms. I'm talking to folks that know your pigeon pose pretty well here, but of course you could pull the front heel out further away from the hip, more in line with that front knee. In doing that, just make sure you've flexed the foot, really engaged the muscles so there's some strong tension that helps to protect and bring safety to knee and hip. And then crawl yourself back upright, fall to the left hip so that your right leg is free to come all the way around. Again, keep your left heel tucked against the outer right hip and step the right foot over to the outside of the thigh. As much as we can, we want both hips to settle down to the mat, but if you're still a little bit lifted on one side, it's going to be okay, and that's going to allow the sacrum to move and to adjust as need be with these twists. We used to, for years, yoga practitioners mostly sought to ground both hips to the mat anytime you're in a seated pose, but I think we've realized body mechanics wise that doesn't always work. Lift the arms up to the sky and twist. It's better to have a practice that takes us safely and through longevity than it is to have an outward picture of a pose that doesn't serve you, that sort of thing. Inhale, lift both arms up to the sky, and then counter twist to the other side. Okay, back up again. Take the hands back, lean back. Extract the legs, and now you can stay in a seated position with the legs straight out in front. So there's a lot of school of thought that our seated poses really are the most difficult because we've got our hips much more grounded and there's less movement available. And so it's why they're usually at the end of a practice, so that the rest of the body has gotten the movement, we've warmed up, we've created a little bit more opportunity for the seated poses to be available to us. But it's also, I think, this thought that don't be so rigid with your poses, and certainly your seated poses. Lift the arms up to the sky. Take in those lessons of doing what feels good to you. Lean forward in a seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. We do our best to create the alignment that will work. So flexed feet, toes pointed straight up, knees pointed straight up, so that we can most actively engage the muscles on the front side of the leg for strength and give release, length, stretch through the back side of the muscles, the hamstrings, the calves here. Nice even round of the spine, trying not to overly drop head, neck, and shoulders, letting the entire spine move in one unit. That's why we did all of that work to start us out. Okay, and then come upright. Set soles of the feet together in a very wide, like a diamond shape here. I'm not trying to go into a narrow bound angle. I'm pretty wide out. And then we're going to take our hands and prayer hands. And through all of this movement, we're going to try to not use our hands, okay? And so it's back to that rocking that we did at the beginning. And now I'm just going to rock us through several seated poses. So first we're starting in this wider Baddha Konasana. You can take the rocking out, or you could go slower if it's just not for you. And then without the helping of hands, pull the heels now closer in so you are in a tighter Baddha Konasana. Push your feet in, extend the knees out, and keep the rocking going. Hands stay here, but come forward and stay. Push feet in, extend knees out, and stay forward for a moment. Can you lengthen out the exhale? And then as you come upright, right leg straight out. So you should end up in a one-legged forward fold, left foot like it is in tree pose, and we start our rocking again. Some tone in the abdomen. That's one major reason we're working with our hands in this way, to remind us to keep some tone even as we rock. And now you're coming forward and staying forward. Still flex the foot, toes, kneecaps straight up towards the sky. Okay, come up, change so that your left foot is now flat on the mat. The knee might come out to the side, but as much as you can, keep the foot flat. So maybe that's a wider foot so that you can still rock forward and back. My left buttocks is definitely coming off of the mat, back onto the mat here. So there's fluid movement. And again, you're going to try to stay forward, push down through your left foot and your right heel here. And come on back up. So now I want to rock all of my weight over to that right extended leg so that I can pick up this left leg and try to squeeze the heel to the butt, moving into half hero pose. Heel skinnied in towards the outer hip. And take it slower here, please. Rock, or take the rock completely out. This is just a little trickier position for many folks, especially as we age through knees and ankles, overworking those joints. So we just want to be really good to ourselves. Okay, stay forward. And then come all the way up. Okay, you need to take all of the weight off of that left leg again so that it can safely come out. And back to the mat. Let's relax our arms for a moment. Relax the hold in the core and just fold over. Maybe even bend the knees here. More like a little bear hug around your legs. Long, extended exhale. Extract yourself. For a moment, take your hands to your waist. This is strengthening for our hip flexors. Sit up as tall as you can through your spine. Kind of like you're marching here. Just lift your heels up. Right, left, right, left. 4 more times. Right, left, right, left. Good job. Okay, we need to do it all on the second side. For me, that's right foot in like tree pose, left leg extended. Take the hands back, press together, and rock. Feel free to close the eyes here. Stay settled. Okay, and then change. Sole of the right foot flat down. Knee tries to hug in close to the shoulder. What I do want to happen is right foot flat, left heel staying down, and then you rock. You might need to provide more space for yourself by walking the right foot more out to the side so that you can still keep the right knee pointed to the sky. I think I forgot the little bit of a hold, but come forward and hold for a couple of breaths. And then you come back upright. All of the weight goes to the left extended leg so that the right leg can come up. And this is so that when we're working to close the knee joint, we haven't put weight or pressure on the leg. Close the heel in towards the outer sit bone. The knee doesn't have to go straight ahead. It could be a little bit more out to the side to give you that space and safety. And again, we're going slower here for this action. Really nice way to keep some length in the front of the thigh and the quads in practicing hero pose. I know a two-legged hero pose where you're sitting butt on the floor can be quite troublesome for many, so sometimes getting it one side at a time does work. Stay forward, still strong in the abdomen. These poses aren't a full release. And then you come back up. Take the weight onto the left leg so that you can safely extract the right leg. 2 feet out in front. Reach both arms. Reach both arms up to the sky. And forward fold. Again, Paschimottanasana. And do make this, I'm going to say, the most effort of your seated forward fold. Like grab hold of the feet if possible. Bend the elbows, point them out to the side to try to pull your chest forward and through. Think length of the spine before it curls over. And then long spine to come back upright. Okay, we're going to change to a wide-legged seat. I like to use the length side of my mat to sit butt at the back edge and try to pull my heels up towards the front corners, something like that. But do what works in your space. And we're going to take this first with the holds. Come down to your forearms or staying lifted on the fingers, on the hands, straight out to the front. Focus on that long extension of the exhale breath, longer than your inhale. A seated practice does beg us to be a bit quieter, a bit more inward. And then layering that longer exhale breath work. All of it combining to bring us more towards and into our parasympathetic nervous system. Often called the rest and restore. Nice ritual at the end of the month. Prior to stepping into a new month, kind of slow it down a little bit. Okay, come back upright. Look over towards your right leg. I'm going to keep hands on either side of the leg and try to crawl over. Remember when we were doing the seated twist before, I was saying don't worry so much about keeping the opposite side of your butt flat down on the mat if it needs a little bit of lift. It's usually our low back saying, hey, I need a little support here. It's okay, let it lift. The breath over time, maybe releasing a little bit more so the sit bones come back towards the earth. Find just a little bit more space in the stretch here on the right hamstring. Adductors. Walk it back up. Second side. Turn so hands are on either side of the left leg now. As you just kind of crawl out. Again, that other leg, other side might pop up just a little bit. It's okay. Think longer, extended exhale still here. So going about these positions in a way that's not overly striving, just let it come to you. More of that yin yoga approach. Okay, and then slowly build it back up. I like to think of a huge mixing bowl between the legs here. Interlace the hands and we're gonna mix it up. Start with really big circles. And then you might start to go into smaller circles, all in the same direction. Little rock forward, around, and back through the hips, through the pelvis. And then go the other direction, back to your really big mixes. And start to get a little smaller. Stay more upright in the torso as your mixing bowl gets smaller, right into the center. And then stay. Lift the arms up, up, up towards the sky. You rock to your back of your sit bones, pull your legs in and into boat pose. Bent knees or straight legs, do your best for boat pose right here. This can be tricky, be good to yourself. I'm gonna ask you to go back to your wide-legged straddle. Arms still up. And then we are doing it one more time. Go to boat. Lift from the pelvic floor, strong in the abdomen to set the legs back down. Nicely done. Hold on to the outer legs to pull it all in, and we get to lie down onto our back. Pull your knees into your chest here. Give yourself a good squeeze. Rock back and forth. Keep that dynamic movement going even as we lie down onto the mat here. Settled into our rest and restore. Extend the arms out. T shape, or feel free to bend at the elbows, whatever your space allows. And take both knees, drop them over to the right side. Just be here, a supine twist. And then gradually make your way over to the second side. Pull the knees across the center, let them fall to the left. And knees back across the center. Set the soles of your feet flat down to the yoga mat. This is our last bit of dynamic movement. It's a moving bridge pose. Brush your hands down close to your heels, but keep the arms, as wide as your yoga mat. And inhale, lift your hips up for bridge pose, and then exhale and come back down. And we can do that with that extended breathing and movement. So up for 3, 2, 1, and then exhale out 4, 3, 2, 1 as you lower down. Do this for a few rounds. Lift for 3, 2, 1. Exhale out and lower down 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift, 3, 2, 1. Extend the breath as you exhale and lower down. And one more time, lift. And lower. I invite you to take a little bit of last unwinding movement, maybe a favorite pose, repeating something that's come before. Just another hug in. You're welcome to take 60, 90 seconds. But when you are ready, then find your final pose for this practice. Find your Shavasana. Lying down, lying back, staying still in one particular pose, or seated. It's up to you. And as you find that still position, still focus yourself on the extension of the exhale. Allowing even the focus of the breath now to be set aside. Know that you can stay here longer as you choose. But as you are ready, bring attention, awareness back to fingers and toes, some movement. Perhaps a big stretch. And take your time to come all the way back to a seated position, if not already. And we'll gather palms together, thumbs to the sternum, closing in this gesture of Anjali Mudra. May the intention of the nourishing time here on our yoga mat continue throughout our day. Close in the sound of Om, sing along, listen, or tune it out. Breathe out here. Take a deep breath in. Bow in fullest of gratitude to yourself, each other, the magic of this practice. Namaste. All right, thank you all so much, as always, for practicing.